All right, let's go back to the story that I was talking about before we lost power, and that is a story out of Wichita, Kansas, where police officers and detention staff will not face charges after a teen dies in custody near Wichita, Kansas. In September, Cedric Lofton died at a hospital 2 days after the altercation at the Sedgwick County Juvenile Intake and Assessment Center. A December autopsy report contradicted an earlier preliminary finding that the teenager hadn't suffered life-threatening injuries. The autopsy ruled the death a homicide. Bennett says the state's stand your ground law prevents him from bringing any charges. Joining me now to discuss this is this decision by Sedgwick County DA Marc Bennett is Andrew Stroth, the Lofton family attorney and managing partner of Action Injury Law Firm, and Marquetta Atkins, the executive director for Progeny, an organization working to transform the juvenile justice system in Kansas, and also community activist Pastor Maurice Mo Evans, a powerful community church in Wichita, Kansas. Glad to have all three of you here. I need to understand here, and this is one of the issues we have, Andrew, with stand your ground. So the DA is saying he can't bring charges because of stand your ground?
Yeah, I will tell you, it's a stunning decision by a district attorney who has failed over the years to charge any law enforcement. And again, the theory of stand your ground does not fit this scenario. Cedric Lofton, 17-year-old teenager, 135 pounds, was unarmed, did not present a threat, and is put in the prone position and basically suffocated. They took his breath away and they killed him. And the district attorney is saying stand your ground. It doesn't make any sense, is not based on the theory. It doesn't support the facts. And the family and Pastor Maurice Evans and others are asking for an independent special prosecutor to re-examine the objective evidence in this case.
Pastor, what is that process to get a special prosecutor? Must the DA recuse himself? Does it come from the governor? How does that work?
We're looking at every option. Apparently, the state of Kansas does not have the ability to, by means of law, or so we've been told, that there's no provision within the law to allow him to be replaced. But there's nothing that stops him from assigning one, from volunteering. Marc Bennett has said that it would make him look bad and that he would not necessarily be seen as competent, or that he would be seen as incompetent if he were to assign a special prosecutor. We're not concerned with that. His efforts so far have not been adequate, and so we're looking at other options for possibly, hopefully, Department of Justice or some other way that we can get a special prosecutor assigned to this case, have it reopened, and charges filed, rather than saying no one's accountable.
This is the kind of thing that we have seen, Marquetta, in so many other states that just makes no sense whatsoever. It is as if people have the absolute right to shoot to kill and they have no consequences.
Absolutely. I think society and this country is teaching us our kids are expendable, and they're not. Cedric was a child. He was in a mental health crisis, and he deserved to get the help that he needed. He did not deserve to go to JIAC. He did not deserve to come out of there dead. And so we have to stop this trend of making this nation think that our kids are expendable, because they are not.
But I'm trying to understand how the stand your ground law applies. Where did this actually take place? Was it inside the facility?
It happened inside the facility. Yeah.
Yeah, it was earlier interaction with the Wichita Police Department, but he was actually suffocated and crushed inside the Juvenile Intake Center. And you can see on the video the stress and pressure that was put on Cedric. And let's be clear, they put Cedric in the prone position, face down. And that is a dangerous position and against policy. And it was for approximately 20 minutes.
Okay, so again, how does, so I'm just trying to and this is what I'm trying to understand here. Okay, so these are, the individuals who did this, they work for the facility?
Correct.
Okay. Which means that they have procedures.
That's right.
So he's face down.
Yes.
Are they saying that he was striking them, he was fighting them, he was beating them, he was biting them? What are they saying?
You know, Pastor Mo, why don't you respond to that? Because the DA's report, Marc Bennett's report, is so disturbing that you got a young man not posing a threat that they basically killed. So stand your ground makes no sense. And they interviewed the individuals at JIAC, and even their own interviews don't indicate a threat. But Pastor Mo, I defer to you.
Pastor, you there?
I am
Actually,
here.
we lost him.
I'm here.
Okay, Pastor, you back? Go ahead.
Yeah, the whole thing has been sophistry from the beginning. The reason why people are concerned in saying, this doesn't make any sense is because there have been lies and miscommunications from the beginning. What we know is that he was actually held down, he was handcuffed, he was shackled. There was a person at his feet, there was a person sitting on his back, there was a person holding each arm. And so what we know is that this happened for at least 45 minutes before they realized that he was unresponsive and unconscious. So none of this makes sense. I don't understand how 4 people have someone shackled, handcuffed, and they feel their life is in danger. Because that's a stand your ground, right? That your life is in danger and
Right.
it's an imminent threat. Where does that come from?
That means that my life is in danger, that somebody has done something to put my life in danger. And so what I don't understand is how you can be in a facility a person can't get out of. You have complete control of that person's movements. 4 people are holding him down, and it's stand your ground?
They're holding a young person responsible for his murder. They're holding a 17-year-old child in a mental health crisis responsible for his own murder. And Glenna Martinez, that runs the facility, in a press conference yesterday, said that the staff did procedure. And if that is a procedure, they grossly need to change that procedure. And it does not fit stand your ground.
Question
Yeah.
here, that is, all right, is there any call for the Department of Justice come in, someone else, the state authorities to look into this? Anything?
So far, the only thing that the city has done is issued a task force to take a look at the policies from beginning to end that led to Cedric's murder. And I'm going to keep on using the word murder instead of death. But to me, that is not good enough. Somebody needs to be held accountable, specifically Marc Bennett, because he had the power to make this right. And the message that he's sending out is so critical, especially for young people who are already going through it, who are in mental health crisis. What is the message we're sending to these kids and their parents when they need help? Because who wants to call for help and risk their child being murdered and taken to the wrong facility instead of getting the help that they need because an officer feels threatened or because a staff that is supposed to be equipped to handle situations like this feels threatened? What is the message that we're sending to our young people?
And that's right. And Roland, this happened back in September. So initially, they didn't release any of the footage. They did let the family finally come in and see the footage. They didn't, at the initial press conference, as Pastor Mo knows, the district attorney and the sheriff talked about a kid on drugs, on K2, with a background. Well, thank God there was a medical examiner that gave an objective report that showed that these officials killed, suffocated, and took Cedric's breath away. So this doesn't stop here. The family is going to pursue all legal remedies while the community and our team are going to work together to try to get a special prosecutor. You just have to look at the independent evidence. And Marc Bennett has a track record of not holding people accountable. His 45-page report is nonsense. And we're going to move forward because the objective evidence supports that this kid was unjustifiably killed. Cedric Lofton should be here today, and he's not because of the actions of those actors at that juvenile detention facility.
That is absolutely a shame.
They need
folks,
to be held accountable.
Absolutely. Please keep us abreast of how this case moves forward.
Yeah, we need an external audit, and I want to put that out there. We need somebody outside of Wichita to come in and view what's happening here, because there is no way that this child should be murdered and his legacy be left in vain. And on top of that, we have to realize that these systems, these juvenile justice systems, are not working. We need to be proactive in how we're dealing with our young people, and we need to do preventative measures to keep our kids from being incarcerated and going in jail. These systems are not working.
Absolutely.
And the county task force is not adequate, because those are all people who were a part of Marc Bennett's secret letter that he sent. Those were all people who have been a part of supposedly protecting our young people, and thus far have not been able to do so. So we definitely need, as Marquetta said, we need independent third-party oversight, and there has to be accountability. We can't say nobody's responsible for this child's death. As a community, we're not going to stand for that.
All right. Folks, I certainly appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Marc Unfiltered video in just one moment. Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Hold no punches.
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?